Hey guys, welcome to Keilor. We're down here in Melbourne for the 2025 Keilor Invitational. Joined here with Ray Munday, also the oldest guy on the grid and the most experienced. So Ray, how's
I'll
your day
take the
been?
most experience, yeah.
It's been a long day here. A lot of testing and practice today. Today was Friday, our practice day, and Saturday tomorrow will be two-wheel drive day and Sunday will be four-wheel drive day. So we're here to give you guys a track walk of the freshly oiled track, and yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, well, we might as well start on the straight, shall we? So, yeah, we're here at the beautiful Keilor Electric Off-Road Race Car Club, western suburbs in Melbourne. We're at the Invitational. This event's been running since 2014. For the last few years, it's been run on an oiled track surface. So, it's a clay surface that has a vegetable oil put onto it. It's freshly oiled recently, and the oil helps bind it. So, I think we'll talk a little bit about the surface because that's really the big talking point when you come to a track like this. When you put the oil on it, it binds the track and it binds the clay, and you can even hear
Yeah, it's very tacky on foot.
it's very sticky under your foot. And the club just recently oiled it before the event, and then with especially the autumn sun, still a pretty hot day. There's a high UV out at the moment. It activates it and makes it really sticky, and the traction. We don't get to race on this much like through the year. It's when you put this oil down, it's a second a lap faster.
Definitely.
But the nice thing with the oil, it then stays as it kind of evaporates out a little bit over time. It stays a very consistent surface and it's very low maintenance. It's still quite one of the things you might not see if you watch a car on videos how bumpy it is. So it's a bumpy surface. It's soft. It's actually quite soft to touch. If you put your finger in it, you can leave a fingerprint in there. So it looks hard, but it's quite soft. That gives a lot of traction. And one of the challenges when you're racing on this surface is it does change a lot in the sun. You can see there's a bit of shade here. The sun makes it really sticky. It also makes it a bit softer. So as the day goes on, the track becomes a little bit more aggressive. And so you've got to find a real balance in your driving style. You've got to be aggressive without over pushing the car, and you've got to find a car that's stable but still runs a lot of bumps. So we've got quite a long front straight, a very fast turn one, but it's really bumpy. You can see right here, there's some bumps right on the middle of the corner that kind of create as the cars go through them, Geordie.
Exactly.
So
they're creating some braking bumps, is what you could call them. As
Yeah.
it's very soft as well, so cars are coming through and kind of pushing the dirt up towards the outside. So we're kind of having to coming down the straight a bit wider and kind of cutting across into our first jump, which is, you could say it's a difficult one to hit straight. There is quite a bit of a bump in the middle, which is forcing the cars to kick up a little bit. And it's a very fast corner as well.
Yeah, it's a balance on this one. Yeah, it sends the cars quite high, and it's a big straight, so you can attack by doing some big air. So if you carry a lot of speed through turn one, you can carry some big air and carry it towards turn two. But it's a real risky corner, turn one, Geordie.
It is,
so,
yeah. Especially with a couple cars going through there, it would be interesting to see what lines you could take to hit this jump as well.
And turn one, if you get the line right, it's quite good. But when you're in traffic, you don't always get the right line. So what you'll see tomorrow is maybe some cars, if there's like 2 or 3 cars in a chain, one car just gets themselves offline. That'll be enough to get them up on 2 wheels and create a passing opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing some guys today, and especially in four-wheel drive mod, being able to jump pretty close to this corner and make up some time. But as Ray said, it is quite risky, especially in traffic. I think it's going to be, you might have to play it a bit safer and just downslope it and carry the corner speed up to turn two.
I think it'll be a bit of a last lap passing spot though. If you're up behind someone and you've got a bit of a break behind you, this is one of those risk reward sections. If you send it, you can pass someone in the air and hold the line. If you can then hold it through this turn two right hander, you'll be able to hold a pass up through here.
Absolutely. I think if you're behind Ray Munday, you just got to send it and hope for the best.
I don't know. Last time I was racing Geordie, his car slowed down in front of me, so he went flying off. And this section here, this is there's a lot more elevation on this track that's created through the years of different features. Coming down off here, it's a little bit off camber, and then you drop down into this hairpin. If you get it sideways coming down the hill, you often traction roll when you land.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you get it right as the car lands, you can kind of use the landing onto this section here to hook the car in.
You can see as it's really quite soft, there's a big braking divot forming here. So you're going to have to try and keep it tight.
Again, this is also a good passing spot because if you just attack it a little bit hard, sometimes you get a bit of a bounce and you run a bit wide. So if you're if you're really tight in behind the other car, you can pass. And this section here, this is where there was a cut through a couple of years ago, and they've left the natural kind of roughness to the section. So you've got to be very precise through here. There's quite a big bump in the middle there. If you hit that, and you're turning, you can crash. So you got to be really precise through this section.
I find it is quite an interesting corner because if you get it right, you can make up a fair bit of time. And if you don't, it really unsettles the car, especially that bump we've just seen. And then you're coming into quite a tight S section, you could call it. It is quite flat as well, so you can carry a lot of corner speed coming through here.
So I'm not sure about yourself, Geordie, but I take this one, you kind of a bit point and shoot. You get a nice tight line here, then you can almost straight line through this S.
Yeah,
you can ride this curb and come back a little bit to the right, and then that lets you then carry a nice tight line out of here. It becomes off camber in this little straight here though, so it's very easy to push out wide before the next left-right kink. Another good passing opportunity. If you've got your car, get a good rotation out of this corner, you can punch very fast down here, and the car in front might kind of fall off the off camber. So you can see it really cambers away to the right through this section.
And as you do come through here, you find the car naturally wants to push a bit too far to the right. As Ray said, it is off cambered. And we're coming into quite a quick corner, and the curbs coming into this section are quite flat, so we have been able to keep two wheels on each of the curbs, which kind of makes it a bit more straight and easier to attack.
Yeah, the club recently reprofiled. This curb was a bit bigger, same with the next one, and it actually impacted the racing because you had to kind of stop through here, whereas now they've just reprofiled. We found it lets you run really close with the cars around you, and it's an attack section.
It definitely makes it easier to drive close to other cars in front of you as well.
Yeah. Again, you've got a bit of off camber. If you get the line right here, it almost tucks you in, and you can get a lot of speed if you get this exit just right here.
Yeah.
It's off camber through this section.
Kind of sucks you down into the track, and you can carry a bit more corner speed.
And that's important because one of the most challenging sections of the track is to clear this quad. The quad's very long. I think it's about 9 or 10 metres, depending on whether you walk the takeoff or the landing. But it's very close out of this corner, and you can see it's angled that way, but the straight before it is angling away. So to get to clear it right, you have to have really good on-power steering. You've got to have carried really good speed through the S, and it is definitely a risk-reward one. If you can keep the car to the left, the jump is shorter, so you'll clear it easier. But it's very challenging to get on power, get the speed up, get the line right without shooting off on the inside or the outside. So you will see a lot of passing here, especially if you get a little bit out wide and the car behind's got a good line. They can again capitalise on the corner straight after that.
Yeah, we've also found middle of the day when the sun is out and the sun's beating down the track, it does bring up the oil, which makes it a bit slimy. So it's been quite hard to, especially in two-wheel drive mod, to get the run up for this one.
Yeah, and there's a gentle headwind today.
It is
Melbourne, and the wind direction is what we talk about because it changes the weather a lot. And if we get the southerly, it's a headwind, and if we get the northerly, it's a tailwind. So you have to watch out, and often you get a wind swing through the day. So you might find cars will clear it in the afternoon, but not clear it in the morning and not in the afternoon. Yep. But in saying that, the landing of the quad, which used to be a triple, there's a new jump put on the front. The landing is not too bad. So if you decide to take it as like landing that little divot between the 3 and the 4, you don't lose much time, but there is a risk reward. If you try to clear it and you case just right on the tip of the 4th, it often sends you over. So this is definitely a risk reward jump. You'll see some last lap passes on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that'll be me versus Geordie. Yeah.
Hopefully. I think first lap it's going to cause a bit of trouble too, to see who's going to.
Yeah, it'll take a bit of respect.
Big.
Yeah. I think the 10th place, if they try to do the triple, maybe 4-wheel drive, but 4-wheel drive you can do it pretty easy, but 2-wheel drive is a challenge. Yeah.
This corner is very flat as well, and we have been able to carry quite a bit of corner speed through here. And especially if you do land the quad right, it kind of sucks you around and keep the corner speed up.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cambering right on the inside. And if you can keep tight through this, it lines you up better for this next kind of, I guess, a complex of roller, turn. And this is really good fun, this section. You've got basically a tabletop double here, land, then you've got a turn, and it is banked towards the inside. So if you can get close to what we call the twin towers here, which are there to stop people cutting the corner, if you can land nice and close to the twin towers, and then you've got to rotate, and then you've got to go over this next roller. They are tabletops, and this is a very family-oriented club. We've got a lot of juniors and 20-on-5s and things that race here. So the jumps are designed that if you don't clear them, it doesn't break your car and you don't crash. But there's definitely timing in getting this right. If you can land the downslope into here, all the way through this section, the double, turn, roller, turn over the down onto the back straight, you get that line right. It's worth about 0.3 or 0.4. Just getting the line, the apex is nice here.
Yeah, definitely. It is also quite a rewarding part of the track when you do get it right.
Yeah.
You can make up a bit of time. I think we'll have some cool trains going through here.
Yeah, this is last year. So the layout is very similar to last year's track, but these features are what have changed. And this one last year didn't have this roller. It was very bumpy and it was very tough to race the other cars. Whereas now, you can follow and train through here. But if you get because you got like a right and a right, if you get the line right through here, it lets you capitalise in a passing opportunity. It's a really good passing spot right here.
So we're coming into the back straight. It is a single into a double into a single. In four-wheel drive mod, we have seen some guys do single, triple, which it looks cool, but I don't think it's much of a faster move, you could say.
No, if you get this right, both two-wheel and four-wheel can clear this, and the goal is to come out of this straight. This is actually, we call it a back straight, but if you look along it, it's far from straight. It's got a big curve in it, and from the driver's stand, it looks straight, and that's one of the things that's deceptive. But it actually curves around to the right, and there's quite a lot of bumps on there. So the trick to this is to get yourself lined up on the section coming out, so that you're keeping yourself straight. If you're turning through these bumps, you'll crash. So it's the trick to here is coming down here nice and straight. Use this valley to punch the car, carry the speed, and then you basically just driving at speed over these bumps. But you've got to be really disciplined not to use the steering when you go through them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can see this is a really bumpy section here. And if your car's moving fast, you can go through it. But if you're on power, the car gets really out of shape. So you got to be pretty precise out this back section. But from the driver's stand, it looks straight. So it's a really deceptive spot.
That's right. And the cars also get very unsettled where Ray is standing now. You can kind of see there is a bit of an upslope here. So it's kind of unsettling the car coming into the next right-hand corner.
Yeah, the right-hander, which is now affectionately known as the toilet corner.
Yeah,
We've got the toilet there.
We've seen some cars go straight over underneath the toilet.
Yep.
That was me one time today.
So yeah, we rise up and then we drop down from this corner. But being at the drop, because it's bumpy, it's rising up. If you carry too much speed here, it's really easy to tip as you come over and the car on weights coming down the hill. So you've got to be very careful. You kind of pull up on the brakes, you try to brake a little bit straight, wash just enough speed off, and then tuck it in really tight down here. And if you get it right, you just two-wheel off that and you feel pretty heroic. When you get it wrong, yeah, you're out in the toilet. And now we're leading into the S, which is probably the most technical and challenging section of the track to get right.
Definitely the hardest one. And you can, if you look from back here, you can straight line it. But it's also been very bumpy today. Especially coming down the hill, you're carrying a lot of speed on power.
Yeah, and you can see where Geordie's feet are there. It's a bit of a wave, and this is one of the things that happens on the oil tracks. It is a living, breathing surface, yeah? It changes from day to day. You do have to, even through the day, you got to watch out where it changes. So under brakes, it creates like these waves. So you've got to be careful that you don't, if you're turning through those brake sections, the car can suddenly lose traction. Yeah. And this section here, you come down the hill, you've got to be very gentle on the steering because, again, it is almost a straight line, but then you've got a tight right-hander coming on the straight with some elevation. So it's precise, not too much steering.
And also if you use too much brakes, the front end does dig into the ground.
Yeah.
It is very soft. You kind of see just as standing on it. It's very sticky as well.
Yeah, that's a very soft and sticky section. But when you get this right, you're almost straight. You just give like a little right kink, a little bit of a left kink, pull off the speed enough that you get the car rotating. And as soon as you've felt the car rotate and start to aim on the straight, this is really good. You know when you got that right, because then you can just get on the throttle hard and you're on full power.
That's right, just power out of it.
Yeah. If you just clip this curb, you lose a lot of time. You might have seen there was a video that the club put up the other week where Geordie and Lockie had an awesome battle that came to the last lap. And if you're watching slow motion, Geordie had the lead through here, just got his wheels on this, and that like, what, 0.1 of a second of two-wheel, not being able to get on the throttle, and Lockie behind got a clean run, was enough to then drive on the straight. So this is really rewarding, and you know by about here, you know if you've done a heroic lap. The worst thing though, if you've got a really good lap and then you get this one wrong, you just end up in the pits.
We've seen that happen. Sometimes.
And it's very easy to hit either the first left-hander down there or this right-hander. Both of them, you just end up out in the pits. And yeah, it is definitely a risk reward. But when you get this right, it opens you up onto the straight, and you can punch it. And especially with this level of grip, this length of straight, we are running a lot of boost, a lot of turbo. We're running some big motor here. Yeah?
We are, yes.
Yeah.
And we're topping out very early down the straight as well.
Yeah. So I think that's going to make for some, like, especially with the freight train of 10 cars, is going to make for amazing watching. Yeah.
We think this weekend's all going to be about patience and smart driving. You don't need the quickest car out there, and hopefully a bit of luck goes your way.
Yeah. I know you asked me before what was the best starting place. Actually, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. It's the finishing place.
That's right.
But the tactic I've always used, and I've been fortunate to win 4 of these, I think there's probably only once or twice that I was the quickest. Usually it was trying to get the most seconds and thirds. It's not dropping points. So it's the driver that can maybe turn a ninth starting spot into a third. That's how you win this race. You've got to capitalise. If you're starting on the top 3, you want to finish in the top 3. But if you can always consistently just work your way through the field patiently and go, don't have to be first, but I want to get into that top 3. As long as I'm in the top 3 when the buzzer goes and across the line, that's how you win these races. And you keep the point score low. You don't bleed out big points. Yeah,
that's right. Especially if you have a DNF, it's going to put a lot of pressure on yourself to try and get those points back up.
Yeah, you only get 1 throwout out of 5 races in each class. So yeah, you just got to be consistent and, as Geordie said, really patient. Yeah. The luck will come, but generally the more patient you are, the luckier you get, is what I find. So
hopefully. All right, that's a track walk of the 2025 Keilor Invite layout. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys this weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much, RC Race Media, and everyone at home, and we'll see you through the weekend.
Thank you.